The Batman! DC is back with its next superhero flick, The Batman. 3 hours of pure action, starring Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz and Colin Farrell, who does a crazy good job as Mr. Penguin. I mean, holy crap. The Batman is the newest superhero flick that comes just about 2.5 months after Spider-Man No Way Home, which was a huge hit, super good movie. So, The Batman had a lot to live up to. It had a really high bar to hit, and, yeah, it met that bar. It exceeded that bar. The Batman is exactly what you think you're going in for when you go into a Batman movie, and that has its pros and cons, but, let's go through this piece by piece and pick this movie apart piece by piece. I want to start by talking about the length. The movie honestly did take a little bit of time for me to get into. Of course, the villain in this movie is the Riddler, and you go through a long phase of just solving riddles, like death after death after death, and while the riddles can be kind of interesting, it does get a little stale, and you start to wonder, okay, when are things going to pick up? Things do pick up after that first car chase scene, when just cars are smashing into each other and trucks are flipping over and things are catching on fire and Batman flies out of the fire in the air. It's like that's when it picks up, and from then on I was hooked. Like, there was never a part after that where I was like, okay, when's this movie gonna get good? Like, once it got good, it stayed good. And not just good, but phenomenal. Crazily phenomenal. I think DC usually takes a darker and more serious tone than Marvel, where like Marvel is like fun for the whole family. DC can be kind of cold-blooded, like in your face about stuff, and there is certainly that. There's some scenes that were kind of morbid, so that's what you're in for. Great. I was a little bit shocked. I was a little bit surprised. Not gonna lie. All the characteristics are there. Like the cinematography, beautiful, dude. Chef's kiss. I forgot to mention this. The score is phenomenal. I mean, the music all the way through is just so good. So good. The acting is also stellar. Everyone pulls off an amazing performance. This Batman is like more serious and kind of cold-blooded than other Batmans. Like usually he's like, at least with this Bruce Wayne character, kind of like rich and extravagant. Robert Pattinson makes his Batman kind of like very, very serious and chilling, and a menace to watch on screen. It adds such a tone, and the tone is a big thing in this movie. Gotham is just so bleak in the Batman, and there's just so much like morbid killing in the Batman, and for the Batman to be such a serious and down-to-earth like character is very cool. Batman teams up with Catwoman, played by Zoe, of course, and it feels a little bit corporate. It felt like it was just, they needed a female lead to add that sexual tension, and so they can have a star and a co-star walking the red carpet together. And while it does feel a little bit corporate, I don't actually think it took away from the movie at all. I loved the movie just as much. I felt, the love story felt like it was just a love story for the purpose of the movie. It didn't feel like an authentic love story, but I don't think it made the movie any worse. I still loved it just as much. Batman teams up with Catwoman, and they become kind of a team for the vast majority of the movie. They are kind of working together, but what makes this movie really interesting is that although they're on the same side, they have vastly different goals. While Batman's trying to solve crime and ultimately stop the Riddler, Catwoman's just trying to save her friend, right? So they're both good guys, but they're good in different ways, and it makes for a really cool scene, like for example where they're in that club and Catwoman's wearing that contact lens that lets Batman see through her eyes and also talk to her. Batman gets the information he needs, but nothing more. Like, he gets the information he needs, but not what he wants, right? He gets just enough, and then Catwoman kind of goes in her own path and does what she wants, and I like that she isn't just, like, although she feels like she's there just to be the female lead, she also has her own characteristics and goals and attributes, and she is her own character. So it makes for some really cool scenes and really cool conflict. Ultimately, at the end, when Catwoman wants to kill Falcon, and she almost gets to do it, and then Batman kind of stops her, which is really cool. Where this movie shines, and why I think this movie is better than maybe Spider-Man No Way Home, and better than maybe some other Batman movies, and just a really good movie in general, is the action. Like I said, after that car chase scene, the movie just has you hooked, like, for good. there is so much like explosive action, like literally explosive. Like when the whole town's being exploded and flooded, it's just like jaw dropping, dude. I was in the theater like what am I watching? Like this is insane. How is Batman going to stop this? And so like if that's what you're in for, if you're looking for an action movie, this is the movie for you. I was blown away. It was so good. And then at the end, Batman ultimately starts getting people out of the water and saving people and saving the politician who kind of wasn't really even rooting for him in the first place. The riddles are a very nice touch. I mean, we like to think that like Batman's main enemy is the Joker. So it's kind of like, oh, we're seeing the Riddler this time, but no, like he was a very just like demonic, scary character. Like his acting like didn't even seem like the Riddler, but he just did it so well that I was like, okay, this dude is the Riddler. And the riddles were creative when they were like, it was like you are El Rata, and they were like, no, it's supposed to be you are La Rata because it's female. And then Batman's like, oh my god, URL, and typed in his computer. I was like, it isn't even like that explosive or that crazy of a riddle, but I was just like, wow, that's wild. So yeah, all in all, The Batman is your Batman movie. It's got all the characteristics it needs, and really amplifies those, and really just makes for a great action movie. A great good guy catches the bad guy when the good guy is kind of hated by a lot of people movie, which is what Batman is, which is great. They did it phenomenally. The Batman's very cookie cutter, but it's not cookie cutter like a boring cookie cutter. It's cookie cutter like it just has the elements it needs, and it plays those up to the best of its potential. I guess where it falters is the first like hour or so. It is just kind of, very slow, and it's expected that it'll be slow for a 3-hour movie, and the length does maybe take away some of the engagement with this movie. You do kind of wonder, like, okay, when is this movie gonna end? Especially with the first hour just being like a single death after death after death, and like a new clue, and like, oh, it's almost like you're watching a detective movie, not a Batman movie for a while. That could be with like, the corporate love story, the corporate kind of Batman that we all know and love. While it's not bad, it's great. I want to emphasize that it's amazing, but it doesn't offer anything new, nothing like super exciting, nothing unique for Batman. You're going into this movie knowing what you want and getting a lot of what you want, but nothing new, I guess would be the biggest thing. If you're looking for something that would subvert your expectations, kind of like blow your mind, turn you upside down, this is not the movie to do that. And while that's okay, I think it's just lacking what could have been. It's a little bit of a missed opportunity. All in all, The Batman is cold-blooded, thrilling, action-packed, down to earth, and a convincing love story, packed into one. I'm gonna give this a decent 8 out of 10 for The Batman. Let me know what you guys think, if you agree or disagree. My name is Nico. Trust me, I'm a film student, and my opinion is always correct. So, if you're wrong, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you all next time. Peace out.